Welcome to the first episode of R&R County Cooking, where we're cooking by campfire. What we're cooking today, something delicious. Lunchtime, we're going to cook up some marinated lamb steaks. What we're going to pair that with, we're going to pair it with some roast potato and a side of broccolini as well. Cooking by the campfire, the fire is going. It's not quite where I want it to be. Had a bit of trouble starting it this morning. I'm sure you've all been there, but it's going now. A few more minutes and we'll get that hot plate on. So marinated steaks, marinated in rosemary and mint. We're going to cook them on the flat plate grill, and then we're going to chop up the potatoes and roast them in the camp oven, and then we'll probably chuck these on the grill as well with a fair bit of oil. Very simple dish today. We're just going to cook the steaks like a steak, roast and roast. Seasonings, this is already marinated, lamb's already done, rosemary and mint like I mentioned. For the potatoes, just oil, salt, pepper, garlic. That's it. Nothing flash, just a whole lot of flavor. So we'll get this fire ready to go. We're going to put the hot plate on it, and then we'll start preparing these ingredients. All right, so the fire is pretty much where I want it to be. Potatoes are going to take the longest, so we're going to chop them up, put them on the fire first, and then we'll get the lamb and the broccolini on with a few minutes to spare with the potatoes. Just a roasted potato. All we're doing is we're going to cut them into some bite-sized pieces, oil them up, season them up, throw them in the camp oven, chuck them on. Simple, nothing to it. Just chop it up, chop it up, chop it up. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Chop it up. Only 2 today because it's just me eating it, so obviously cater the proportions to your group or needs and you'll be fine. That's it. Open up the pan, give it a quick oil around the base, even though it is pre-seasoned. Move that around. Ideally you'd like to warm this up first, but I'm not going to do that. The fire is, we've already discussed the fire. Chuck them in. Very easy. Now these are going to take the longest, like I said, so let's get them on the way. Bit more oil on top of the potatoes. Salt, pepper, and the almighty garlic powder. Give that a turn. Might go splash more oil so they don't burn and char up too much. Alright, throw this on some coals, put some coals on top and let it do its thing. We've got the potatoes on in the camp oven, they're on some coals. Tricky thing is just making sure that you keep the fire going off to the side whilst you pull the coals out. So now that that's got, get out of the pit, you fucking idiot. Now that we've got the fire going quite well, we're going to put the flat plate onto it, get that nice and hot, and then we can cook up them steaks and the broccolini. As long as this little bastard stays out of the fire pit before he burns himself. Alright, so now that we've got the flat plate grill on, that's just heating up. All we're going to do is prepare the rest of our ingredients. So not much to it really, we're just going to cut a couple of stalks out of this, cut this out of the packaging, and get that ready to throw on a nice hot grill. No seasoning, salt, pepper, garlic, oil on the things. So whilst that's heating up, we'll cut this out, cut some of these off, and get them ready to throw on a nice hot grill. You can hear those puppies sizzling on a nice hot grill. That's what you want. Lamb's one of those funny ones, hey? It's not like a beef steak where you can cook it pretty rare, and it's not chicken or pork where you should cook it all the way through. It's one of those where you want a good crust on it like a proper steak, but you also don't want it to be too pink in the middle. Just a little bit rare is probably what you want. But lamb is delicious, especially cooked over a fire. I remember one time, this has always stuck with me for some reason. It was one time I was bush camping with a few good mates. We were cooking up some lamb over the campfire. Nice big, lovely lamb chop, and we cooked it, and for some reason, I don't know why, but for some reason I decided to eat it with my hands, just barehanded it. And I just remember the feeling of, I just felt fucking primal again, just bare bones eating this juicy lamb's chop with my bare hands. It gave me energy. It just felt right, and that experience has stuck with me, and it's one that I always think back to when I eat lamb. And it was just a great experience and a great feeling when you're just cooking meat over a campfire, surrounded by your mates in the bush. It's just all in all a positive experience. These are about ready to flip. We'll get them flipped, and then we'll chuck on the broccolini as well, and by the time those are all finished, those potatoes should be softened up nicely as well. Alright, it's time to get these suckers off the grill. They're cooked. Pull the potatoes off. We'll serve it up all looking juicy and yummy, and I'll give you a look then. So everything's off now. We let it rest for about 5 minutes, and we've got ourselves some juicy looking lamb steaks with broccolini and roasted potatoes. Now, one thing I did forget to mention about the potatoes is try and get in there every now and then and give them a bit of a stir, just so the bottom ones don't stick to the bottom of the pot. And the best part about it is now we get to sit in front of the fire and reap the rewards of our work. So let's plate this up, and we're going to sit back in front of that fire and just enjoy the moment. Couple of bites in and I'm already feeling good. What are you gonna do, huh? What are you gonna do? Look at this. You got the fire, you got the lamb, you got the coffee over there, you got the sun now. What are you gonna do, huh? You got the puppy dog. Don't touch. But this is lovely. This is lovely. I mean, everything, you know it, everything just tastes better when it's cooked over a fire. So I'm gonna enjoy the rest of this. I'm gonna grab myself my coffee, and we're gonna devour this in front of this beautiful flame on this beautiful day. So I'll see you in the next episode. What are you gonna do, huh?